Hello. Today I'm continuing our series on the origins of the Gothic horror literary genre by talking about The Year Without a Summer, which took place in 1816. The average global temperature at that time decreased by 32 to 33 degrees Fahrenheit, which is equivalent to zero point 0.4 to zero point 0.7 degrees Celsius. There were snows in June, followed by bitter winter in July and August. That year started like any other. It started at the tail end of the winter. When winter ended, spring came as normally. But then, all of a sudden, there was a sharp decline in temperature again. Which caused famine in North America and Europe, and was the sixth deadliest disaster in Great Britain and Ireland, based upon number of deaths. The causes of this are a confluence of events. This took place right in the middle of the Dalton Minimum, which was a time period of reduced solar activity, which lasted from 1790 to 1840 approximately. There's some debate over the exact dates, but that is the general consensus. This was known as the Little Ice Age. In general, temperatures were cooler, but this particular year, there were other factors that contributed and drove the temperature down even further than it had been during the rest of that time period. This started in 1814 with the eruption of Mount Mayon in the Philippines. This eruption threw a bunch of volcanic ash and sulfuric elements into the atmosphere. And then in 1815, there was a much larger eruption, the eruption of Mount Tambora in Indonesia. And the eruption of Mount Tambora was even larger than the much more famous eruption of Mount Krakatoa, but this was before a lot of the mass media existed, so word internationally wasn't as well known. Because of this sharp decrease in temperature, there were low crop yields that year, especially corn and grain products, driving the price of bread through the roof. People at the time reported a persistent dry fog that turned the air red. This was from the volcanic material in the air. This caused famine, widespread death of cold, and starvation. Now, I know what you're thinking. How does this relate to Gothic horror as a genre? This is a real-world disaster that changed the global climate for that year to a point where it was a severe risk to the lives of people all over the world. The reason for this is actually a setup for my next video, which is about a trip that was taken by Mary Wollstonecraft Shelley, well, at that time, Mary Wollstonecraft Godwin, Percy Shelley, Lord Byron, and John Polidori, during which significant events happened in the establishment of the Gothic horror genre as we know it today. The events of The Year Without a Summer just created the environment in which those stories could be created and the circumstances that led specifically to them. Those of you who are fans of the Gothic horror genre know those names, that you know who Mary Shelley is and who Lord Byron, John Polidori, and Percy Shelley are. We have them to thank for a lot of things that we know of today, but we'll get into that next time. If you like the video, well, you know how YouTube works. I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.